Welcome to the SIU Today Podcast. I'm John Wickman. I'm here with Marc Godman.
Morning.
Good morning, Marc. How are things up in Michigan?
Good. We have some nice, almost it's our second summer here. We're having some good temperatures, and don't have to break the jacket and boots out yet. So it's been going great. And it's Michigan State week, which is always a big week here in Michigan.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Have you guys healed from the throttling that Illinois gave you last week?
Well, I'm sure I will alienate some people, but I myself am not a U of M fan. So I found myself cheering for the Fighting Illini.
Yeah.
So it was an enjoyable game last weekend.
Marc, I think we just became best friends. It was good to see you last week, and I know we're going to be talking about the Michigan IASIU seminar that happened.
It was great having you guys up. We always love it.
So before we kind of get into that, can you give us a little background on just your career, who you are, and how you became involved with the Michigan IASIU chapter?
Sure. So actually, May of this year, I celebrated 30 years in the insurance industry. It was spring of '94, and I had just graduated college. And so I wasn't sure which way my career path was going to go. And at the time, my brother-in-law worked for Metropolitan Life Insurance. And he's like, hey, just to, get you a paycheck while you're figuring things out, we're hiring, why don't I get you an interview? So I went through the interview process and got hired, and it ended up that I was put on the General Motors account. And my job was to investigate short-term disability claims for General Motors employees. So I would go out to the plant, speak with the employee and the union reps, and kind of, we didn't get to go in the field a ton at that point, so it was a lot of vendor usage. But there were a lot of in-person statements, and anytime dealing with union members, you have to go through the union reps. So I'd sit down with them. So it kind of got my feet wet both into the insurance industry and then the investigative side of it as well, because at that point in my life, I didn't even know that existed. So then a couple years later, about 1997, I joined Allstate Insurance Company in their special investigative unit. At that time, I was primarily a PIP investigator, and that's when I found out more about IASIU and what they do. And I joined up at that time because all the members of our special investigative unit, they were big into IASIU. They were officers and heavily involved, so they kind of showed me what it was all about. So I was with Allstate for 17 years. And then in July of 2014, I made the jump over to Hanover Insurance Group. And in Michigan, we're known as Citizens Insurance. And I'm a part of their medical investigative team right now as well. So it's been a great ride. I thought at first it was just going to be like, insurance, it's just what you do till you find your calling. But it ended up that, being an insurance investigator has been my calling, and I've loved every day of it.
What is your position right now on the Michigan IASIU chapter board?
I am currently the president of the IASIU chapter. So I was elected vice president, it's 24 in 2023. And a couple months into my vice presidency, our chapter president took another position. And it was outside of SIU. And one of the requirements to be a part of the chapter is that you have to be actively working in an SIU. So he had to step down. So I want to say it was April or May of last year, I ascended to the presidency, and I will serve in this role until January 2027.
What's the goal of your chapter or the mission?
So our main goal is we kind of have three. For our members, we want to provide best in industry training. We have approximately 6 general membership meetings per year. On top of that, we have a spring training seminar, which is a half-day seminar. And then in October, which we just concluded, 2 weeks ago now, is our fall training seminar. And that's an all-day seminar at Schoolcraft College. So we, at our general membership meetings, we will bring in speakers on various topics to provide about an hour in training. And then our seminars, we try to cover everything. We'll have property speakers, we'll have auto speakers, and we'll have casualty related speakers, and they'll do little breakout sessions on top of having keynote speakers, which will, talk on different topics throughout the years. So to our members, that's like the biggest benefit. Then we also like to provide networking, not only with all the amazing vendors we have, but with different law enforcement communities. They're very heavily involved in our chapter. And then our third goal is to provide public awareness. There's numerous studies out there, and you'd be surprised how many people do not even view insurance fraud as really a crime. And, it costs the general public $300 billion per year. When you think of that, that's a little over $700, per insured. When that adds up, when you think about what you could do with $300 billion, not the least of which is lowering premiums. So people will view insurance fraud as just, I've been paying my premiums for all this time. So even if you get into a legitimate accident and you throw in some old damage on there, just to cover the deductible or whatever, people just view that as, hey, that's just, everyday life, and it's, not a crime. And then fraud just goes up from there.
Speaking of the seminar, how do you feel it went?
I couldn't be happier. Our vice president of our chapter, Jennifer Humphrey, took over kind of the spearheading of it this year and just, knocked it out of the ballpark. The last couple of years, we'd kind of been still in a post-COVID recovery. So this year we had 198 attendees between vendors, membership, and law enforcement. And that is the most we've had in many, many years. So it was a great seminar. We were celebrating the 40th anniversary of the basically formation of what's known as IASIU right now. So we brought in Frank Stuck from Delta Group to talk about that because he's one of the leaders in the industry. The feedback we got on our breakout sessions, I couldn't be happier, and I haven't had one complaint about anything. So that tells me that we ran a good seminar this year, and just can't wait for next year's already.
Yeah, rumor has it you had some great speakers.
Yeah. We, there's this one company known as PhotoFax, and they held a morning session that, was just killer, I heard.
Yeah, I heard that they hoisted them on their shoulders and carried them out.
Yeah. I heard it was all Keely.
It was all Keely. It had nothing to do with me. I trained her well.
That's right.
So what's the benefit of attending the seminar and becoming a member of your chapter? I guess even not just for SIU, but for vendors as well.
Sure. So for members, and, so we open it up not just to SIU people this seminar, but to like regular claims personnel and that who might have an interest in working in SIU in the future. And it's just the training we provide is just amazing. I can't, over the last couple of years, I can't think of any topic we haven't covered. And I know artificial intelligence is a big one on the horizon, so we'll be tackling that. On top of the training we provide, just the networking. I can't tell you, just bouncing ideas off other people at other companies and talking to vendors. That is a huge part in what we do. Just, hey, have you heard of this provider? Or what are you seeing in regards to hit and run losses or, scheduled jewelry items? And, the list just goes on and on. So for membership, I would say coming to the seminar, just the training alone is worth the cost of admission. And then the vendors, I can't, thank our vendors enough. And, I'm not just saying that because, you're one of the most important vendors we use, but we couldn't do our job on a daily basis without you guys. And what I feel is a good benefit for vendors is that not only are the vendors getting access to our almost 200 members of the chapter, but in addition to that, when you most companies have an approved vendor list now. So once you're on that list, that also gives you access to uh, like our regular claims department, because it's not just us who needs you to go out and get a statement or do surveillance, or one of the many jobs you guys do for us. So it opens up your contacts and, just all the ability of the people you have to talk to. And plus, I got to say, with all the business end of it, we do have one great networking session in July, which you guys were a huge part of, and we go to a Detroit Tigers game. There's just times you just need to get away from the office and have a little fun, and you just get to interact on a more personal, social level instead of just always being all business oriented.
One of the things I've noticed from traveling all over the country and going to the different chapters events is you guys have a huge turnout when it comes to just exhibitors coming for a table and stuff. How many exhibitors did you have this year in the hall?
Yeah, so in our fall seminar held at Schoolcraft College, we are limited to 23 vendors, and that's really just a space thing. I mean, we're going to start already planning next year's, probably in the next month or two, we'll get the ball rolling. But we would really like to try to figure out a way how to get more vendors in there, because the interest is there. And I really feel bad, turning a vendor away just because we're at maximum space. So I want to figure out a way to get more in there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really do bring in a lot of exhibitors, though, compared to some of the other chapters. I think you're kind of up in the upper echelon of it for.
Well, thank you. We're trying, because, like I said, vendors, we can't thank them enough, and you guys are the, some of the unsung heroes, because you're doing some of the stuff that we can't get to.
What are some highlights or things you want to talk about the seminar that happened? I know you kind of mentioned a few already, but.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great keynote speaker, and then we brought in Bruce Jacobs. If you haven't seen him, basically, just in a nutshell, just when you're taking a statement, all the little body movements and the language they use, tells such a story. And we gave him an hour, and he had to condense it down. But just listen to him is great. Our breakout sessions were amazing, with social media to open and obvious, and just all the different auto property and casualty topics. It was just a great seminar. And like I said, I do need to mention, so I wouldn't say it was a complaint, but just for those watching, the pasta bar will return next year. We had changed the menu to pizza. We thought maybe people were getting tired of pasta every year, but people really seem to enjoy the pasta bar. So that will be returning at next year's seminar. So you can breathe easy on that.
Yeah, small riot ensued when the pizza came out, I think.
What'd you say?
I said there was a small riot that ensued once they saw the pasta bar wasn't out.
I mean, I thought it was really good pizza. I definitely enjoyed it.
I like Detroit style pizza, so I was excited about it.
Yeah.
There's a place in Florida down here that has really good Detroit style pizza. And I know people in Florida are going to hate me for saying this, but there's not a lot of good pizza down in Florida. It's not like up in the Midwest.
Is there such a thing as Florida style pizza?
Yeah, it's called junk. No, I don't. It's like every pizza place I go to tastes almost like Domino's or something. Like it's just not good. And then
okay.
But then I found a couple ones that are more Midwest style that are better. We have a Rosati's down here, so that's not terrible. But
okay.
But
yeah, see, I need some Chicago style deep dish. Like that's my go-to.
Me too.
I mean, Michigan pizza is really good, but if you want the best, sorry, even though I'm from Michigan, Chicago deep dish is the best.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to find a good deep dish down here.
And also this year's event, I have to give a shout out to an unnamed vendor who, drove all the way from Florida just to be here. So
yeah, you got some dedicated vendors.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I mean, he, the storms rolling through Florida kind of messed up his plans, but he was committed and hopped in his car, and I don't even know how long of a drive it is, but he made it.
I'm still driving, actually. I had to pull over and borrowing someone's
That
house.
I
It is
believe.
not.
Yeah, that I believe.
So what are the plans for next year's event? Same area? Are you going to
Yep,
change some things?
it will be at the Vista Tech Center, which is part of Schoolcraft College in Livonia. And the date will be October 9th. We've already secured the date. So we're in the process of signing the contract and cementing that. And then we take a few weeks off just to catch our breath because it's a ton of work behind the scenes. And I mean, we start working on it early in the year. So it's good just to, take a deep breath and walk away. But probably December 1st, we'll come together as a committee and we'll start laying out the topics we want to talk about and get our speakers in order. And then, so we want to, start getting the dates out earlier and getting the registrations out earlier because, we'd love to get, 200 plus people there. We thought we were going to crack it this year, but my goal for next year is, 200 or more.
Now, if I'm watching this and I'm either in SIU or in claims or I'm a vendor and I want to get involved in next year's seminar, what do I do? Who do I contact?
So if you're a vendor, the easiest way would be to reach out to either myself or Jennifer Humphrey. Our contact information, I can certainly get that to you so you can post it, or I'm not sure if guests have access to the directory on the IASIU.org site or not. But so my email is mgodman@hanover.com. That, you can reach out to me and I can forward you to Jen. I don't have her email memorized right now. So my phone number is 517-518-0394. So yeah, I mean, if you're a new vendor looking to get in, we'd love to have you. And then as far as, maybe new people to SIU looking to get involved. So what you need to do is go to www.iasiu.org. That's the international website. And you become a member of the international first. And then once they assign you your member number, then you go to our site, which is www.miiasiu.org. And then you can apply for membership directly for our chapter. And we're always looking for more members, both in the insurance industry and law enforcement. It's obviously I'm biased, but I always tell people we are the best chapter in the country, and we're doing great things. And it's only going up from here.
Is there anything you'd like to add, Mark, before we sign off here?
I mean, there's so many people I could go on and on, people I want to thank. First and foremost, I don't ever want our law enforcement people to think we don't, appreciate everything they do on a daily basis for us. I may meet with an insured who's unhappy to see me, but he's not threatening me like law enforcement has to deal with every day.
Yeah.
So they're putting their lives on the line every time they leave the house and kiss their families goodbye. So it's always a huge thank out to them. A huge thank you to our vendors. As I previously said, none of this would be possible without your guys' support and what you do for us. Our membership, I mean, they're just killing it. Our members are just so dedicated to fighting insurance fraud. It's really awesome to see. I would think after 30 years in the industry that, I would almost be numb to it, but I still get goosebumps when I see just the excitement at the membership meetings and these seminars. I need to thank our committee, our seminar committee. They just took the ball and ran with it. It's definitely a labor of love, and I'll never be grateful enough to show my appreciation to them. And then to our Michigan chapter officers and our board of directors, the time and commitment that they give, it's just great. It makes my job so much easier. I can basically just sit back and, like they say, just be the bus driver and just make sure we're getting to the destination we need to be at, because they take everything and run with it. And it's a great chapter. It's a great board of directors. I mean, they just give me everything I need.
Well, Mark, I appreciate everything. The event
Absolutely. I'm
went
always
great.
here for you, John.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm so honored to be here.
Let's talk soon, and have a great week and stay out of trouble.
All right, sounds good. And you know, go Illinois. And I can't say I'm a Steeler guy, so I can't say go Bears. But
Go
you know,
Illinois. This is going to be a big. I'm excited.
yeah, you got Oregon. This is a big test.
If we win this, I may have to take a week off of work.
If you guys beat Oregon, I mean, you're going to get some national attention.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. It's
Yeah.
good for the
Well, good
program.
luck
It's
to you.
good for the future with them too. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, Mark, I will talk to you soon. And
All right, I look forward to it.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, you too.